Welcome back to You Can Do It. So today we are going to be looking at refurbishing one of these high pressure fuel pumps from the PSA Prince engine, which was fitted to the Minis, the N14 N18. The N18 is basically the same pump, but instead of having this sort of bracket that bolted on, they put like an extra bit on here and we drilled a hole. But it's basically the same pump. So these are notorious for going wrong, and they're very, very expensive to replace, and they don't seem to have any serviceable parts listed. So we're gonna have a look here at fixing one of these. So we'll have a look at it a bit more when we take it apart, but basically the system is you've got this driven by the cam, and that's basically got behind there, this is all full of oil, and you've got two like bellows with pistons in there that are operated by this there's a disc in there on an angle, and that basically pushes them up there, and it creates the pressure. So there's no actual, the oil never comes to the fuel because the fuel's on that side, and the oil's on this side. But what actually happens over time is that you lose oil through this seal here, and obviously that oil then will just go back into the engine, so it won't cause any damage or anything. But what happens is you start losing pressure in the system, and it stops working. Now what allows for expansion and everything and controls things, this diaphragm here. Reading up and everything, it's basically, it needs to be about 20 to 22, so when it's sort of fresh and new. And then by the time the reading gets to 27, it's basically shot. So the way we read it is by putting a vernier caliper down there and measuring it. So let's go and get a vernier caliper and measure this. Now, before I do that, I mean, the symptoms of this when they stop working is it just basically, it doesn't just suddenly stop, it just gets worse and worse. But basically, pressure in your system is not, it takes time to build up, so it's slow in starting and things like that. And then when you put your foot down and you need loads of pressure, or the revs go up high, you'll suddenly find that it'll splutter or it won't run properly. And it's basically all comes back down to this is not working properly. So let's go and get our vernier calipers and take a quick measurement. I mean, I bought this one second hand off of the internet. The classic, the seller said, well, you know, I can't guarantee it works, but it's come off of an engine that was damaged. So you basically read into that, it doesn't work. But let me go get my vernier calipers and we'll see our starting point. What I will add is that I've looked at a lot of videos on the internet from Mr. Two Tempos from Brazil. It's all in Portuguese. And other videos on there to try and get my head around what's going on in here. And I thought I'd make this video because I'm trying to, do the video in English, but also explain or summarize a lot of the stuff that's been done in a lot of other videos and things like that. Okay, so I did indeed get my vernier calipers. So let me just turn that on, back on again, zero it. All right, so I zeroed that. So then put that down there. Put it down there so it hits the thing and hits that top, and then let's take a reading. So the reading's 10.5. So I know immediately someone's tried to fill this up with oil and it's way too, there's too much pressure in there. So that spring, there's a little spring in there, there's a diaphragm, and then you've got a spring on top of it. Now that spring is virtually fully compressed, which means there's no room for, as that oil gets hot, because obviously that's connected to the engine, and the engine runs at 405 degrees C, so as this oil gets up to that sort of temperature, it expands, and this has to control that expansion and just keep a pressure range in the oil there. As I say, so it should be between 20 and 22, say 20, 21 to start with, and then by the time it gets to 27, it means you've lost enough oil that it's shot in here, or the oil's completely disintegrated or something. Anyway, so this has obviously been tampered by somebody, and it hasn't worked. So as I expected, this wouldn't be working, because at that sort of 10 millimeters or 10.5, the pressure would be way too high, which probably wouldn't even work. Okay, so first things first then. So that's our baseline. So let's take this off. So we just need some torque drives to undo this. Now when we take this off, this is all full of oil, so we've got to be careful. So I've put it on here, but we'll see by the state of the oil whether or not this has actually in fact been messed with. Because if my predictions are right that it has been tampered with and someone's tried to refill it, the oil in here will be fairly good. Whereas normally when you take these out and they haven't been serviced before, then they're completely grey, horrible looking oil. So let's see. So I'm going to undo these three here and pop this out. Okay, I've taken those three screws out. Now before we do anything, I'm just going to quickly see. So if you put that down there now, what do we get now? Yeah, 17, 18. So already that's moved because that's had to take up the slack since we've released the pressure in here. Right, that seal comes off, but that's a bit short. That needs replacing. And that comes off. So now we've got this part here. That ring comes off. Now I don't think, yeah, it's not any particular. And now I need to slightly lift this out now. So I'll need two hands for that. So let me just like lift that out. Okay, look, I've just done another test with that and it's 19.9, so it's 20 basically. So that tells me immediately basically that this was way overfilled, which is probably why it wasn't working, which is why the guy sold it. So we just need to now take this off out of here. All right, that's popped up. Look at the colour of that oil. That looks filthy. So maybe it hasn't. Or it's been. Look at that. Right. So we take these out, look. And they're little pistons. And they go on top of the. They go on top there. Let me just take that out like that. So look, that's how the pistons they sit. That sits on top of the little piston like that. And there's one here. So that normally sits on top there. It sits like that. Look at the colour of that oil. So if it has been serviced, it's been serviced a long time ago. No, actually no, I think that's this has been fairly freshly done. So now what I'm going to need to do is siphon all this oil out and clean this up. All right, so I've cleaned that up. I've just used brake cleaner to clean that up. So we've not got a lot of parts that so these are just the clamps. Obviously these are cleaned up. These are little pistons. They sit on there. They're the springs that go in there. They're the bolts that clamp all that together. So here are your bellows. So you've got these are sort of tubes that are screwed in here, and then the bellows on the other side. Now we're not going to take those out at the moment because I'm just going to assume they're okay because they don't normally split. I've never seen one split. So the problem, so I've cleaned that up there. We've cleaned up there, rinsed it out loads of times with brake cleaner. Now down here, it's a tube that goes through and it comes out there and there's a ball bearing being pushed in there. Now I think that's how they fill that up with oil. So what we can do is we can get a, look, you see some of the brake cleaners come out from there. It's quite dirty down there. So now what I'm going to do is find something to put down there and tap, try and push that ball bearing out. Because what I'm then going to do, I've got a project there to sort of sort that out so we can fill it up. Right, I did tap that. Now I have to say it was a lot lighter than I thought. It's a simple little tap, look. And there's the ball bearing on the end of there, look. There's the ball bearing. So I'm just going to go and clean all that up and clean it up again with some brake cleaner. There's the, oh yeah, there's your little ball bearing there, look. So I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to spray some brake cleaner through that. Right, while that other bit's outside drying, because I sprayed loads of stuff, I'm going to do this. So this seal is actually the bit probably where the oil leaks from, is that seal. So what we're going to do is take this off and look at changing that seal. So what I'll do is I'm just going to mark this on that side with marker pen. I don't think it makes any difference where it is, but it shouldn't do, but just to make sure, I'm going to put it like that. So now I'm going to use my little puller here and pull that bit off. So let me get going and I'll be back in a minute. I just put a little ball bearing on there just because that bit there is wider than the shaft, so you won't pull it off. So that ball bearing is tight. So I'm now going to tighten that up and try and pull that off. That came off nicely. So then we've got the bearing there. Sorry, the bearing, the seal there. Like I said, so now there we go. We should be able to push that out like that. So we can clean that up. and then that runs on that bearing there. So we'll check that that runs okay. Looks all right. I get plenty of oil, so we'll just clean all that up, and then I'll be back. Right, so I've taken that spindle out and cleaned that up. Okay, under here you have this little race here. You can see these little tabs here. You've got to get them lined up with there, and then you just turn it around like that, and like that, and it comes out. That was all. This is all good, so I've cleaned that all up. And inside there, there's a little needle bearing. That's all free and nice. I've cleaned that up. Now, this bearing here, look, this seal, sorry, is in a bit of a state. Someone's had a go at it, so I'm going to take that out. It's got this engraving on it, so it looks like someone might have fixed it and put their signature on it at some point. Anyway, so look, you can see that seal's a bit knackered, so I'm going to basically put some screwdriver in there and gently, careful not to scratch the thing, and try and get that out, and then we'll measure it up and get a replacement seal for that, and then we can put all that back, and then that's good to go. So let me take this out now, and then we can measure it up and get a new seal. So all these bits have been cleaned up now, ready to go back together. All right, so I use the screwdriver just gently under there, just not too far, otherwise you'll scratch this there. That's come out, look, and you can see it's filthy in there. So we need to clean all that up. So more cleaning required. So let me go and clean that up. Well, that's nice and clean now. So that's all cleaned up. I've measured this, and this is a 6.5 wide by 22 diameter by 12. And it looks to me, if I look at that, you can see, look, it's wear there and there, so I reckon that's a double seal. So we need to go and find a double seal, double lip seal, and I'm going to order one of those on the internet. So I'm going to order one of those, and then that will all be ready to put back together again, and that part is finished. So then we can now move back over to here. Okay, while we're waiting for that seal to arrive, we can have a look at this. So look, I've basically, there's no oil in it, there's nothing, and if I measure the distance of this here, guess what you get? 27.8. So that's telling you that when there's no oil in it, that spring pushes down so that there's a distance of 27.8. So basically, when you're measuring here and you get to 26, 27, it basically means that the diaphragm is basically used up all its travel, so it can't really do its job anymore. So that's why the 26, 27 is the magic number when it's failing. So if you've got anything around 26, 27, if it hasn't failed yet, it's going to fail very, very soon. So then you need to, obviously, we need to recharge that and pull that back up. Okay, so we've got the oil side and we've got the fuel side. We're not going to do the fuel side yet because we'll just sort out this oil side. So what my plan is here is we pushed that ball bearing out of there, look, clean that all up now. So what I was going to do, I've got a plan, all right. I'm just going to tap that in down there. I was going to put a nipple in there. So the logic is I'm going to be able to tap that, screw that nipple in there tight, and then I'll be able to bleed out oil by pushing that down, and then the oil will come out, and hopefully we can get rid of the air. So that's the rough plan at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put something up there with a rag on it or something, just so that none of the debris, when I drill that and tap it, can get into here. So you need to put a little drill bit with a bit of rag around it or something up there, just so that any debris that when you drill that hole won't go back down into here. Okay, so let me get a drill. I think it's going to be a 4.5mm drill, and then I'll tap that for the M6 × 1. We'll see how we get on. Interestingly, the ball that I pushed out of there, if you drop the ball back in there, it doesn't go in there. So you could actually tap the ball bearing back in. So the idea will be to use this as a filling hole. Anyway, let me try and drill and tap that, and see how I've drilled and tapped that nicely. So what I did was I put a drill, before you start doing all your drilling, put a drill and get some tape or something around it to get it the exact right size. So that fits up that hole nicely like that. But look, it's just, you can see that drill bit now is at the bottom there. Look, it's nearly coming out the top now. So that means that when you drill the hole and tap it, none of the rubbish falls down into the hole that goes into there. So I did that. And then, to be honest, it's easier to push this right the way through there. Push that right the way through, like that. And then that's all, and then blow it out with air and everything. But then I use a vacuum cleaner actually, so nothing got it down at all. Then you know that's all clear in there. And then this is tapered, anyway, so that'll screw in there, and that'll give you hopefully a oil tight seal. So now, from the oil side of things, we are just waiting for the seal for there to come, and then I can show you how to put this all back together. Okay, so I've got that in there, look. So that fits in there nicely now. So I've been outside, and what I did was I put this out here, I got a thing there, and I got my little pick here, put it in there, I pulled it back, I filled that all up with brake cleaner, yeah, and I just waited to see what happened, and nothing came out the bottom here, so that is definitely sealed up. And interestingly, it took some time, and then you suddenly get bubbles up. So when you're filling this up for good with oil, which is a lot thicker, there's a lot of air stuck inside, it's just even stuck in here. So we've got to be quite conscious of that. All right, so this is about the end of part one, because I'll split this up into 2 videos so it's not too long. So that's the end of part 1. So we've stripped it down, we've done that, we've tapped that, ready for rebuild. We've done the oil side, so we're waiting for the oil seal. When that comes, we can rebuild all this, and then we will fill it with oil, and then we'll clean the fuel side. So see you on the next video.